dig, 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 and I dig my life away, oh, and I dig my life away.
This is Derek Richardson, and I'm back with another episode of Gold Prospecting 101. Now, in our first episode, I showed you the basics of gold panning. I showed you how to classify your material, to saturate your material, to stratify your material, to wash your material, then how to go through your material. Today I'm going to give you some more details and show you some good techniques to learn that will help you be a better gold panner. First off, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the pan. You can see there's all different kinds of pans. There's different size pans, small pans, medium pans, big pans. There's different types of riffles. You can see the riffles here stick up out of the pan. The riffles here will drop into the pan. Now, my preference is the green pan, drop riffle pan. This is the pan that you'll get from the GPAA if you join the GPAA. And it's a good pan. It's got a nice wide bottom. I really like a wide bottom because when you're going through your material, you like to be able to have the material spread out across the wide bottom. Alright, now the first thing I showed you about in the last video was classification. Now, in all instances, you do not need to or even want to classify. And if you're just taking sample pans, walking down the riverbank, trying to find a spot with some gold, you might not want to spend the time classifying or bother carrying a classifier. So you can just throw the material directly in the pan and then pan it out. But you will, as you're panning, you'll have to go through and pick out the rocks by hand, because the rocks can actually knock your gold out. Although the gold is by far heavier than anything else in there, a small flake of gold is still not heavier than a big rock. So you gotta keep that into consideration. And then that's going to be different than if, say, you're panning concentrated black sands from, say, your river sloughs or from a dry washer, both of which I will be doing videos on. In some instances, you might want to classify more or less, and for that there are different size screens. As you can see here, we got like a 1/2 inch. That'll just get your big rocks off. You got a 1/4 inch. That's gonna be the one I'm gonna use today. And you got all kinds of smaller ones. You can get a whole variety of them. And basically, the more evenly sized material you have in the pan, the easier it is to the pan, and the more efficient your panning will be. So in the last video, we started off by showing you classifying, and what I did was called a dry classification, which basically I took and threw my dirt. Let's throw some scoops of dirt in here. Got my classifier on my pan. This is a 1/4 inch classifier. And basically a dry classification, I just threw the dirt in here, and then I shook the screen and shook the pan around, kind of did that. And now if your material is completely dry, it's usually just fine. Most of the material will just fall off your rocks. The dry dirt will just fall off your rocks. But if you have any moisture in your dirt, or if you have dirt that's sticking to your rocks, or if you have dirt that just has a lot of fine gold in it, you probably want to do a wet classify, which you're just going to want to submerge the whole thing, and then do you can do a shake as well, but what I like to do is kind of a steering wheel motion back and forth, so you see how that works. And now this works, it's the same technique whether you're classifying into your pan, gold pan here, or whether you're classifying into a 5-gallon bucket, because these classifiers fit right onto a 5-gallon bucket, and you can dry classify by just shaking it around dry, or you can actually fill the bucket with water and set this in there and do a wet classifier. Alright, so let's make sure, check our rocks, we don't got no gold nuggets there. Alright, we can set that aside, and we've got our pan material here. Alright. Like I was saying, different types of material, you'll be panning a little bit differently. The more black sands and heavies you have in there, the more you will need to shake it to drop your gold to the bottom. The more light stuff you have, the easier it'll be for you to get your gold to the bottom and wash the light stuff away. So, let's get it stratified. get our material stratifying. At this point, our pan is level. Pan is level, sitting on the water, and we're shaking it. And our heavies are going down to the bottom. And then what we're going to do, as we're shaking, is going to tip the pan forward. Because what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get it down into this bottom corner that you see here. See, here's our riffle side of the pan. We've got our riffles here, and we're trying to get the gold concentrated down in this bottom corner. So we tilt it slightly forward like that without letting our material go off the end. So we get it like that, and then we're going to wash. And when we wash, we tilt it even more forward, and then we do a wash just by moving the water on and off the material like that, back and forth. You can also do what they call a wave, which is basically just kind of taking it like that, kind of washes it back and forth. I usually just use the straight back and forth wash, but both work well. Now we bring it back, and we bring it back, we'll bring the pan level again, and shake. We're going to shake around a couple times, shake side to side, nice and level, and then we shake it, tilting it forward, getting it into that corner, and then we tilt it even more, and we wash. And what you're going to want to look for is this back side here. When you start seeing your black sands exposed here on the black side, as your light stuff washes off, when you start seeing black sands down here, that means you want to bring it back and re-stratify. Let's wash it off. We'll do a little wave there. Now, when you get it down to a little bit of material, the riffles are great for having a lot of material, getting that material off and keeping your gold in the pan. When you get down to a little bit of material, you're actually going to want to bring it over to the other side of the pan here where there are no riffles, because the riffles will actually hold back some of that light material you're trying to get rid of. Now when you bring it over here, you're going to want to be a little bit more careful in your pan, because you don't have those riffles to save your gold. So bring it over to this side, we want to stratify. We want to concentrate it now down in this corner. Stratify, and we tilt it, and then we do some washing nice and gently there. Do a little wave, nice and gentle. Stratify, get it down in that corner, and do some wash. Now if you have a lot of black sands, one thing that's a nice tool is having a little magnet like this, where you can take and you can rub this in there, and that can pull out a lot of your black sand like that. Then you just take this little handle, and that will pull the magnet away, and you've gotten rid of a lot of your heavy material that will make it more difficult to separate from your gold. Alright, give it a wash. Alright. Now, once we got it down like this, the basic way to go through material is to take and just start tilting your pan like this. You've got your material concentrated here, and you get your water there, just a little bit of water in the pan, and basically just tilt it back and forth, letting the water each time wash a little bit more dirt off. Now to help with this, you've got your black sands and your little bit of gold there. Yep, get some flakes right there. Now what you can do, there's a couple techniques I'm going to show you right here that will help concentrate your gold where you want it. Now, the first one is doing the tap. Now you can tap it, there's multiple ways to tap it. The main way, by just tapping the top of the pan like this, and hold it nice and even, make sure your material is under the water, and just tap it like that on the top, and that will actually walk your gold up. So as you see, you're washing back like this, you're washing your lights off, and you can bring the gold right back to the top of the pan. You need to wash, 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 bring the gold right to the top of the pan. Another one will be the side tap, the tap on the side. See, you get your stuff down in your corner now, you just put your hand over here, and just as you're shaking it, just like that. You see, I'm shaking, I just put my hand there, and boom, 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 boom. And what that's going to do is that's going to concentrate my gold on one side. So do a couple of those, do a couple of those, and guess where all my stuff's going to be. A little wash, and then you can see that all the black sand in the gold is now moved over to this side at the top. So the tap comes in really handy. Now, once you got it down like this, getting your gold from your black sand, you're going to use tools like a snuffer bottle. Basically, you fill it with water, you squeeze it, you come in, you can vacuum up your gold and your black sand, you're going to use tools like fine point tweezers. You can come in and you can pick out your bigger flakes. And the tool I use probably the most, the suction tweezers, a simple little plastic suction device here, which you can not only use to suck up your gold, but you can also use it to squirt water around your pan and clean the black sand away from your gold and concentrate your gold together in the pan so it can be easily sucked up and put into a nice little glass vial like that. Now, if you have lots and lots of fine gold, it can be really hard to extract the fine gold from the black sand just with the pan and tweezers. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to save your black sand. If there's any types of fine gold in there, save your black sand. And in a future video, I'm going to show you how to use a little device called the blue bowl, which is a great little tool for separating your really fine, what they call flour gold, from your black sand. So stay tuned for that. And that's going to be it for this episode of Prospecting 101. If you have any questions, like I said last time, please do let me know in the comments below. I would love to answer them. I'm sure there's more I could have said here that I left out, but we will save it for another video. So until next time, heavy pans, y'all.